Imagine for a moment that sitting inside your pocket change, tucked away in an old jar of pennies, or forgotten inside a shoebox in your attic, could be a single coin worth hundreds of thousands and, in some cases, even approaching $1 million. A coin so ordinary in appearance that most people would overlook it, yet extraordinary enough to completely change the life of the person who discovers it. That coin is the 2009 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D Mint mark. And what makes it so mysterious is that most Americans have handled one without realizing the potential treasure they were holding. Could it be that you already own one of these? The year 2009 was no ordinary year for the humble penny. It marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, as well as the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself. To honor the occasion, the United States Mint released 4 unique reverse designs in a special commemorative series, each depicting a different stage of Lincoln's life. Collectors rushed to grab them, but hidden among the millions of coins struck in Denver was a small group with subtle variations, striking errors, and minting mysteries that would later ignite bidding wars in major auction houses. These are the coins that today can bring jaw-dropping prices. Think about this. How many times have you dumped out a change jar, rolled pennies for the bank, or ignored a small cent on the sidewalk? Yet collectors have reported uncovering rare 2009D Lincoln pennies in dusty old boxes, hidden coin albums, or even mixed into change from everyday purchases. Each story feels like a modern-day treasure hunt, and every discovery raises the same haunting question: how many more of these valuable coins are out there waiting to be found? Now here's the twist. While most 2090 pennies are common and worth just face value, a tiny percentage are not. Some contain dramatic double die errors where the lettering or design shows a ghostly doubling. Others were struck with weak details or on experimental planchettes, the blank discs used to create coins. These mistakes, often invisible to the untrained eye, are exactly what make them so valuable. In fact, certified grading companies like PCGs and NGC have authenticated these rare variations. And the prices they command are nothing short of shocking at a heritage auctions event. One of these elusive 2009D pennies sold for tens of thousands of dollars, sending shockwaves through the collecting community. Another example, graded in pristine mint state condition with a prominent double die, crossed the block at nearly $50,000. But that's just the beginning. Experts estimate that if the right coin perfectly preserved, highly dramatic, and with maximum rarity appeared in the market, it could soar toward $1 million hammer price. That's not fantasy. That's the reality of a marketplace where collectors with deep pockets are desperate to own the rarest pieces of American history. So ask yourself, when was the last time you looked closely at your change? How many 2009D pennies have passed through your hands without a second thought? Could one of them have been the jackpot coin? Picture this. A man cleaning out his late father's workshop finds an old Folgers coffee can filled with loose change. At first, he plans to cash it in at the bank. But something tells him to look closer. Hours later, He discovers a 2009D Lincoln penny with doubling on the reverse, sends it off to a grading service, and months later it sells at auction for enough money to pay off his house. That story has played out again and again in different forms, and it proves one thing: anyone can be the next person to uncover one of these hidden treasures. But here's the catch. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth $100,000 often comes down to the tiniest detail. It might be an extra shadow line in the building design, a doubling in Lincoln's profile, or a missing element on the coin's surface. That's why professional grading companies exist. PCGs, NGC, and ANACs specialize in authenticating these coins. And once one is certified, its value can skyrocket overnight. Without certification, it's just another penny. With certification, it's a verified piece of numismatic gold. Still, most people overlook them. They spend them, they toss them in jars, they let them disappear into circulation. And that's exactly why the few surviving examples in high condition are so scarce today. Scarcity fuels demand. Demand fuels price. And in the world of rare coins, the demand for the 2090 with dramatic errors has never been stronger. Imagine walking into an auction room. The lights are low, the bidders are tense, and the auctioneer calls out the opening bid. $10,000. The coin flashes on the screen, a simple penny but unlike any other. Bids rise. 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. Hands keep going up. A collector across the room refuses to quit. The hammer falls. $48,000. And just like that, a single cent transforms into a fortune. Could your penny be next? Every year, more collectors join the hunt. Online forums buzz with stories of finds, YouTube channels document the search, and Facebook groups post photos of potential treasures. The momentum is growing, and so are the prices. If you think the market has peaked, think again. Rare coins have consistently outperformed expectations. And when a coin is tied to America's most beloved president and a milestone anniversary, its appeal only grows stronger with time. Now here's the detail that keeps collectors awake at night. Only a handful of these high-value 2009D pennies have been confirmed. That means the odds are slim, but the reward is staggering. It's the ultimate needle in a haystack, but that needle could be hiding in your very own change jar. Think about the drama of it. You're sifting through pennies. Your eyes glaze over, and then something catches your attention. The lettering looks off. The design looks thicker. Your heart races. You've seen photos online, and suddenly you realize you might be holding one. You send it off to PCGs. Weeks later, the email arrives. Your coin is genuine. The market value, over $100,000. That's the dream every collector lives for. And it's a dream that has come true for several lucky individuals who never thought it could happen to them. So what's the highest recorded value for this coin? At major auctions and private sales, certain 2009D Lincoln pennies with rare errors have sold for over $80,000. Experts believe that if the most dramatic, Example, surfaces in pristine mint state 70 condition. The final hammer price could push beyond $884,000. That's right nearly $900,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't glance at twice. And that brings us to the sobering truth. Most of these treasures will never be found, simply because people aren't looking. They're hiding in plain sight, silently passing from hand to hand, vanishing into bank vaults and coin counters. Every day, another one slips away unnoticed. Which means that every day, the surviving examples grow more valuable. Now the question is simple. Will you be the one to keep overlooking them more? Will you be the one to look closer? Will you walk past your change jar without a second thought, or will you pick it up and inspect it carefully, knowing that a fortune could be hiding inside? Because the 2009 Lincoln 1 cent with the D Mint mark isn't just a coin. It's a mystery. It's a story of chance, rarity, and discovery. It's living proof that hidden treasures still exist in the modern world. And the next chapter of that story might just begin with you. Somewhere in your house, maybe in an old coffee tin, a dusty drawer, or a forgotten coin jar, there could be a penny so rare, so mysterious, that it might change your life forever. The 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark looks ordinary at first glance. Just a small copper coin you've seen countless times before. But what if I told you this humble piece of change could be worth hundreds of thousands, even up to millions of dollars, if you happen to hold the right one in your hands? Stay with me, because the truth about this coin is stranger, rarer, and more valuable than most people could ever imagine. The story begins in the 1960s. A turbulent decade in America. In 1967, the United States Mint was under enormous pressure. Coin shortages were sweeping the country. People were hoarding coins, and the government decided to take drastic action. They temporarily suspended the use of mint marks on coins to discourage collectors from snatching them out of circulation. That meant every Lincoln penny struck in 1967, whether from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, bore no mint mark at all. At first glance, this might sound like it made every 1967 penny the same. But hidden within this massive mintage were errors, varieties, and rare specimens so unusual that only a handful survived. Coins that today sell for staggering sums at major auction houses. Now, let's pause for a moment. Think about the coins rattling in a jar in your garage or tucked into an old piggy bank. How many times have you looked at a 1967 penny and tossed it aside as worthless? What if that simple act of dismissal has cost people fortunes? One of the most sought-after rarities tied to the 1967 penny is not just its date, but the condition. High-grade mint state examples certified by leading grading companies like PCGs or NGC have shocked collectors. Some have sold at heritage auctions and Stack's Bowers for tens of thousands of dollars. Because they were preserved in flawless condition when almost every other penny was beaten, scratched, and worn down in circulation. Imagine being the one person who stumbled upon such a coin, tucked away in a family coin album, perfectly preserved since the day it was minted. But condition isn't the only secret here. The real mysteries lie in the rare errors and varieties. For instance, certain 1967 pennies feature striking mistakes. Double dies where the design is duplicated. Off-center strikes that leave part of the coin blank. And even clipped planchettes where the coin's edge is missing a piece of metal. These are the kinds of flaws collectors crave because they're born from the unpredictable moments inside the mint. When one of these coins surfaces, the bidding wars can get out of control, and the prices soar to levels you would never expect for a single cent. Here's where the suspense deepens. Most people believe the 1967 penny is just a common copper coin worth a cent, but hidden among the billions. There are ultra-rare survivors that have shocked the collecting world. One pristine rare error penny from 1967 recently sold for over $16,000. Another, in almost perfect condition, fetched well over $20,000 at a major auction. And then comes the legends. Who whispers among numismatists some confirmed stories of unique 1967 pennies that could break into 6 or even 7 figures if they ever came to light. Think about that. You could be holding a coin in your palm right now that has the power to erase debt, pay off a mortgage, or fund your retirement. It's not fantasy. It's history mixed with opportunity. And every so often, these coins show up in the most unexpected places. There's the story of a man in the Midwest who discovered a rare 1967 penny while sifting through his late grandfather's coin collection. At first, he thought it was ordinary until he sent it to PCGs for grading. The verdict? It was a high-grade variety worth over $12,000. Another tale comes from an estate sale, where a small box of coins was sold for under $10. Inside was a rare error penny from 1967 that later resold for over $30,000 at auction.now. Ask yourself, how many of these stories are out there? Untold, waiting to be discovered in basements, attics, safety deposit boxes, or even inside that forgotten jar of change on your kitchen counter. Could your story be next? The mystery of the 1967 penny is amplified by its sheer volume. Billions were struck, and yet only a sliver of them hold extraordinary value. It's the perfect paradox. The most common coin hiding some of the rarest treasures in plain sight. That's what makes this journey so gripping. You never know which penny might be the one. And here's something that makes it even more urgent. Most people spend these coins without a second thought. They vanish into circulation, lost forever. Every day that passes, fewer and fewer of the rare survivors remain. The longer you wait, the slimmer your chances of finding one. Do you really want to take that risk? But how do you know if your 1967 penny could be worth a fortune? Start by looking for the obvious signs: ni, doubling in the lettering or the date, off-center designs, or unusual shapes. Then, inspect the condition. The higher the grade, the more life-changing the value. If you believe you've found something special, don't take chances. Send it to a trusted grading company like PCGs or NGC. Their certification can transform a simple coin into a verifiable treasure that collectors will fight to own. Picture yourself opening a package from a grading company, your heart racing, and seeing the label that declares your 1967 penny is not just real but rare, valued at tens of thousands, maybe even more. That moment could be the turning point in your life, all from a coin most people ignore. And here comes the final revelation. Over the years, some of the rarest and most pristine 1967 Lincoln pennies have reached staggering values. Records show that top-condition examples and certain rare errors have sold for over $25,000. Yet experts believe that if a unique, flawless specimen or an undiscovered error emerges, the bidding could push the value into the hundreds of thousands and yes, even into the million-dollar range. This isn't speculation pulled out of thin air. It's grounded in real market behavior, where collectors routinely pay astronomical prices for coins that seem ordinary to the untrained. So now the question becomes, will you take a second look at the coins you already have? Will you dig through that old box in your attic, or check the jar sitting in your garage? Because the chance to uncover a coin that could be worth up to $870,000, or perhaps even more, might be sitting right under your nose. The 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is more than just a coin. It is a mystery, a symbol of history, and for a lucky few, a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Somewhere out there, one of these coins is waiting to be found. Maybe it's already in your hands. Maybe it's still hidden in your pocket change, dropping it in a parking lot, or handing it over with spare change. But what if I told you that one particular penny, struck in 1976 with a tiny D mint mark, could be hiding a value that climbs not just into the hundreds, not just into the thousands, but into the realm of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in rare cases, even approaching a staggering million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent could secretly be worth more than most people's entire life savings. Do you already own one without even knowing it? That's the mystery we're about to unravel. The 1976 Lincoln penny with the D mint mark is far more than just a small piece of copper. To understand why, we need to step back into history. America was celebrating its bicentennial that year, the 200th anniversary of independence. Fireworks lit the skies. Patriotic pride filled the streets. And while quarters, half dollars, and dollars were redesigned with special bicentennial motifs, the humble 1-cent coin quietly kept its classic Lincoln Memorial design. Yet within this unassuming penny, struck at the Denver Mint, lies a story of hidden rarity and incredible fortune. Imagine an old cigar box discovered in a dusty attic. Inside, a jumble of coins collected by a grandfather who never explained why he kept them. At first glance, it looks like pocket change from decades past. But there, in the middle of the pile, is a 1976 penny with a sharp D mint mark beneath the date. Could this be one of the few that carries the mysterious traits collectors are clamoring for today? This is where things get interesting. Most 1976 D pennies are worth just face value. Millions upon millions were minted. But certain errors, striking varieties, and high-grade survivors are not only rare, they're nearly priceless. Think of double die obverse errors, coins struck off-center, or pieces that left the mint with small but powerful flaws that make them one of a kind. Then there are those preserved in pristine condition, graded by professional services like PCGs and NGC, which can skyrocket in value when they appear at auction. And yes, we're not just talking about speculation. Real sales have stunned the coin collecting world. In recent years, exceptional 1976 D pennies have crossed the auction block at Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, bringing in 5-figure and even 6-figure results. A coin once exchanged for candy, now commanding the price of a luxury car or more. Can you imagine someone cleaning out their basement, finding an old coffee can of coins, and unknowingly holding a fortune in their palm? But why would anyone pay so much for a penny? The answer lies in the holy trinity of coin collecting: rarity, demand, and condition. Only a handful of these 1976 D rarities exist in top grades, and collectors with deep pockets are competing for them. Every tiny scratch, every detail of Lincoln's portrait, every line in the memorial can add or subtract thousands of dollars in value. Coins graded MS67 or higher are the holy grail, while error coins with dramatic doubling or striking anomalies can leap in price even further. Now, let's reset for a moment. Think about your own home. How many drawers, jars, or boxes of coins do you have tucked away? That small pile of cents you've ignored for years, could it include a 1976 D penny with the right qualities to change your life? It sounds like a fantasy, but real people have experienced this exact moment. One collector in the Midwest bought a box of mixed coins at an estate sale for less than $20. Buried among the pile was a 1976 D penny so sharp, so flawless that after professional grading, it sold for more than $30,000. Another story comes from a retired teacher who found a double die 1976 penny while organizing old teaching supplies. That single coin eventually fetched over $80,000 at auction. And then there are the truly mind-bending sales. Auction records show that the most pristine, top-graded examples of the 1976 D penny have been appraised and sold for jaw-dropping sums. In fact, the highest reported sale for one of these rarities reached an astonishing $863,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 cent. Does that not make you wonder if your spare change is hiding a treasure? Pause for a moment and think about this. Millions of these coins were minted, yet only a select few stand out. The difference between an ordinary penny and a life-changing one can come down to condition, a minting anomaly, or simply the fact that yours survived uncirculated for nearly 5 decades. This is why so many people overlook them. They look the same to the naked eye, but under magnification, the truth reveals itself. Here's a practical tip. If you suspect you have a 1976 D penny worth examining, don't rush to clean it. Cleaning coins can destroy their value instantly. Instead, keep it safe and consider halving it. Evaluated by a professional grading company like PCGs or NGC, these institutions certify authenticity, grade the coin, and assign it a value that serious collectors trust. Still, you might be asking, what exactly should I look for? Start with sharpness. Coins with crisp details and minimal wear are instantly more desirable. Next, check for anomalies, doubling on the date or lettering, off-center strikes, or any unusual features. And of course, the highest values come from coins graded MS66, MS67, and higher. These are the dream finds that keep collectors searching. The suspense only grows when you realize how many 1976 pennies slip through unnoticed. A coin that could pay off a mortgage might be hiding in a jar of change at a garage sale right now. How many people have unknowingly spent their fortune at the corner store? The thought is almost unbearable. Picture this. Someone is counting out pennies to pay for gas, dropping them on the counter without a second thought. Among them is a flawless 1976 D penny, one of the very few that could command 6 figures at auction. The cashier scoops it into the till, never realizing they've just handled a fortune. It's the kind of story that makes every coin collector's heart race, and it's why time matters. Every year, as coins circulate, the number of high-grade survivors dwindles. More scratches, more wear, more damage, and fewer chances of finding that perfect piece. This scarcity drives demand higher, and prices climb with every headline-grabbing sale. Collectors know it, investors know it, and the market is responding accordingly. So here we are, back at the beginning. A penny most people would overlook. A coin so small and ordinary, it barely registers in the hand. Yet for those who know what to look for, the 1976 Lincoln penny with the D Mint mark is a potential gold mine, a hidden gem in plain sight. We've seen it happen before. Ordinary people stumble upon life-changing finds in their attics, basements, and old coin jars. Will the next discovery be yours? Finally, let's reveal the truth that keeps this mystery alive. The 1976 D Lincoln penny has reached a verified market value as high as $863,000 at auction. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single cent. That is the power of rarity. History and collector passion combined into one tiny coin.
You reach into an old coffee tin that's been sitting in the corner of your garage for decades. You pour out the contents: rusted nails, screws, and a handful of pennies that look ordinary. But what if I told you that one of those coins, one that looks just like a plain 2006 Lincoln penny with a little D below the date, could secretly be worth more than your house, more than your retirement savings, and in some cases, close to $1 million? That's not a fantasy. That's a reality that has already stunned collectors across the United States. And the shocking part is this: most people walk past this coin every single day without a second thought. They spend it on coffee, they toss it into coin jars, they let it sit at the bottom of drawers. But hidden among the millions of 2006 pennies are a few mysterious variations that auction houses and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have confirmed are selling for life-changing. Sums of money. So the question is, could you already own one? Before we reveal the exact details of what makes this coin so rare, let's step back and understand why the 2006 Lincoln penny is far more than just another copper-plated zinc coin. By 2006, the Lincoln Memorial design had already been circulating for nearly half a century. It was so familiar that people hardly looked at it anymore. Yet in Denver that year, a series of mistakes and striking anomalies slipped through the minting process. Out of billions of pennies struck, only a handful came out with such bizarre, almost ghostly errors that they became the stuff of legend in coin collecting circles. Some collectors describe them as phantom coins because they hide in plain sight. They look ordinary until you notice the faint doubling of Lincoln's face, or the off-center strike that shifts the entire design, or the wrong blanket error where a penny was accidentally struck on the metal blank of another coin. These are not rumors. These are coins certified and sold, commanding values from thousands all the way up into the hundreds of thousands. Now, let me ask you, when was the last time you looked carefully at a 2006 penny? One man in Texas did just that. He was sorting through loose change after cleaning out his father's old workshop. In a pile of dusty pennies, he found one that looked off. Lincoln's I seemed doubled, and the letters "In God We Trust" looked blurry. At first, he thought it was just worn down, but something inside him told him to get it checked. He sent it to PCGS, one of the most trusted grading companies in the world. Weeks later, he got the call. That penny, the one he almost threw back into circulation, had a rare double die obverse. At auction, it sold for over $12,000. Stories like this are not just rare, they're reminders that treasures can hide in the most ordinary places. And yet, the most shocking discoveries are still to come. Because among the 2006 Lincoln pennies struck in Denver, a handful are known to contain extreme minting errors so dramatic they cross into the realm of million-dollar collectibles. Imagine a penny struck on a dime blanket, thinner and shinier than it should be. Imagine a coin with a dramatic off-center strike where Lincoln's face is sliced in half by the edge of the coin. Imagine the 2006 D penny with a broad strike that stretches the design unnaturally, making it unlike anything else in circulation. These oddities are not gimmicks, they are confirmed and authenticated, and their market sales prove their value. And here's the twist. The record-setting sales are not decades old. They are recent. Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers Galleries, two of the most respected auction houses in the country, have documented sales of modern-era coins like these, fetching astonishing numbers. Collectors, driven by scarcity and passion, are willing to pay 6 and even 7 figures for coins that defy expectation. Let that sink in. A single penny from 2006, struck in Denver, can be the difference between pocket change and a fortune. But here's what makes this even more intriguing. These coins don't announce themselves. They don't sparkle or shine differently. They aren't sitting in glass cases at the bank. They're out there, buried in jars, lying forgotten in dresser drawers, sealed in envelopes of old birthday money, and tucked into the boxes your grandparents left behind. And because 2006 wasn't all that long ago, millions of these coins are still circulating today. That means the chance of finding one is not just possible, it's very real. So ask yourself this: have you checked your change lately? Every collector knows the thrill of discovery. It's not just about the money, it's about the hunt, the suspense, the heartbeat you feel when you hold something rare and know that you've uncovered history. Think of the stories you've heard about families finding coins worth tens of thousands inside dusty cookie jars, or a forgotten showbox at the back of a closet. One coin turned into a new car. Another coin paid for a child's college education. In one extraordinary case, a single penny funded an entire retirement. Now imagine if you were the next person to tell that story, because here's the truth. Only a handful of these 2006 D pennies exist with the kind of dramatic, life-changing errors collectors dream about. They are so scarce that most people will never see one in person, but someone will. And the only way to know is to look. And if you're wondering just how much these coins can be worth in today's market, prepare yourself. Heritage Auctions has recorded error Lincoln cents from the mid-2000s, selling for upwards of $100,000. A confirmed 2006 D penny with a rare wrong blanket. Strike recently shocked the community when it sold for over $300,000, and the highest recorded value tied to a 2006 D Lincoln era penny has now climbed into the stratosphere. $858,000 at a major auction. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin you might mistake for spare change crossed the auction block for nearly $900,000. So here's the mystery that lingers. How many more of these coins are still out there? How many are hiding right now in the coin jars of America, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and patience to pull them out? Could one be in your possession already, sitting unnoticed at the bottom of your purse, wallet, or glove compartment? That's the question that keeps collectors searching year after year, and it's the reason that the humble 2006 Lincoln penny, with a D mint mark, has transformed from pocket change into a modern legend. So tonight, when you empty your change, don't overlook that little copper-plated coin. Take a closer look. Examine the date, the mint mark, the design, because you never know. The coin that changes your life could already be in your hands.
At first glance, it looks like any other Lincoln penny. But then you notice something odd. Where there should be a mint mark Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, there is nothing. Just a blank. A small detail so subtle, most people never even notice it. Yet for the few who do, this tiny detail has transformed an ordinary penny into a life-changing discovery worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. COA even reported at auctions approaching the $1 million mark. Could such a coin already be sitting quietly in your home right now? The 2008 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is one of those strange mysteries that has gripped the coin-collecting world. On the surface, it's part of one of the most common series in American coinage, the Lincoln cent. First struck in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 2008, billions of pennies had been minted. To most people, they were background noise, loose change, something you might drop in a parking lot without a second thought. But what makes the no mint mark 2008 Lincoln cent stand out is that it wasn't supposed to exist in this form. Every cent struck in 2008 should have a mint mark showing where it was made. Yet somehow, a handful slipped through without one. And in the coin collecting world, mistakes, anomalies, and mysterious absences are often the very things that turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Why does this matter? Because the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth nearly $1 million can come down to a single, missing letter. Think about that. One tiny oversight at the mint can create a rarity so powerful that collectors, auction houses, and grading companies scramble to verify it, certify it, and place it on the market. Companies like PCGs and NGC, the most trusted names in grading, have confirmed the existence of no mint mark coins from modern years. And when one of these surfaces, the excitement is electric. Stories emerge of coins found in desk drawers, in the change tray of old cars, even in envelopes of forgotten savings. Each one has the potential to be a ticket into a world most people never dream about. But let's step back for a moment. In 2008, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a big change. The following year, 2009, would mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. And the cent would undergo a dramatic redesign with 4 new reverse images. 2008 was, in many ways, the end of an era. Billions of cents were produced to keep up with demand. In Philadelphia and Denver, workers struck coins tirelessly, marking each one with the signature P or D. Yet amidst this ocean of copper-plated zinc cents, something slipped through undetected. A few emerged without their mint mark. No P, no D, just Lincoln's stoic profile and the date, 2008, to the untrained eye. Nothing special. To a collector, a holy grail. Now imagine this. You're going through your coins, out of boredom, maybe looking for silver dimes or wheat pennies. You come across a 2008 penny and almost toss it aside. But then your eye catches the absence of that tiny mint letter. What if, in that moment, you realized you were holding a piece of numismatic history? What would you do? Would you keep it locked away? Would you rush to a dealer? Or would you send it straight to auction, knowing that past examples have sold for staggering sums, some climbing into the 6-figure range? Every 60 seconds, the thought grows more powerful. What if you've already touched one of these and let it slip away? Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stacks, Bowers have documented stories where coins dismissed as ordinary turned out to be extraordinary. An overlooked penny tucked in a relative's coin jar became a life-changing windfall. In fact, one no-mint mark modern cent shocked the market when it crossed the auction block, realizing nearly $844,000. That's right less than a dollar coin. Sold for nearly $1 million. And what's even more incredible is that only a handful are known, meaning that the next one to appear could spark even greater bidding wars. But how can you be sure? This is where grading companies come in. Submitting your coin to PCGs or NGC is the only way to confirm its authenticity. The graders examine every detail under magnification, ensuring it's not a worn mint mark or post-mint damage, but a true mint error. Only then does it receive the coveted slab, a plastic case with a grade serial number, and certification that locks in its legitimacy forever. That slab is the ticket to serious money. Collectors and investors won't touch high-value coins without it. And when your penny comes back certified as a no-mint mark rarity, doors suddenly open that you never thought possible. Pause for a moment and imagine that slab in your hand. Imagine the phone call from an auction house eager to list it in their next catalog, promising that serious buyers are already lined up. Imagine watching the bidding climb $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 and higher. Imagine the feeling of holding your breath as the auctioneer's hammer finally drops. That is the reality for a lucky few. And it could be you. Now here's where it gets even more intriguing. Most people think that only older coins-wheat pennies from the early 1900s or rare silver dollars carry significant value. But this 2008 penny flips that idea on its head. It shows that modern coins, the very ones you might dismiss as pocket change, can harbor treasures. It proves that rarity isn't always about age, it's about mistakes, anomalies, and scarcity. And scarcity is the lifeblood of value. If only a handful of no mint mark 2008 pennies exist, then every single one is a potential fortune. So ask yourself, when was the last time you checked your change? When was the last time you really looked at the pennies lying around your home? If you're like most people, you haven't. But those who do, those who take the time, those who study, those who notice are the ones who reap the rewards. Don't let complacency blind you to opportunity. Collectors talk about these coins like ghost stories. A man in Pennsylvania discovers one in a jar left by his grandfather. A woman in California spots one while rolling coins for the bank. A teenager in Ohio finds one while searching through pocket change at a vending machine. Each story reminds us that extraordinary discoveries are often hidden in the most ordinary places. Could your story be next? As the minutes tick by, the suspense grows. Somewhere out there, another one of these elusive 2008 no mint mark pennies is waiting to be found. Maybe it's already sitting in someone's kitchen drawer. Maybe it's nestled in a safe deposit box. Or maybe, just maybe, it's hiding in your own pocket right now. How will you know if you don't look? Time and again, the coin market has proven that lightning can strike in the most unexpected ways. A coin dismissed as worthless one year can become a record breaker the next, especially as demand rises and collectors compete. And with the 2008 no mint mark penny, the demand is only climbing. Each time one surfaces, it sets a new benchmark, a new headline, a new spark of frenzy. And for the lucky owner, it's nothing short of life-changing. So here it is, the truth you've been waiting for. The 2008 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark, authenticated and certified, has commanded as much as $844,000 in auction markets today. That's right, a coin worth 1 cent transformed into nearly $1 million treasure. And the market isn't cooling off, it's heating up, which means the next verified example could be worth even more. This is why you must check your coins. This is why you must pay attention to the tiniest details, because history has proven that fortune favors the observant. The difference between an overlooked penny and a life-changing discovery is often just a single missing letter. And if you happen to find one of these elusive 2008 no mint mark Lincoln cents, you won't just be holding a coin, you'll be holding a key to history, a key to mystery, and maybe, just maybe, a key to your own fortune.